A songwriter waited 15 years just to hear his words sung right.
Crazy for feeling so blue.
These aren't just songs gowns. These are the 10 greatest country songs ever recorded.
I'm free. Amarillo by morning.
And the true stories behind them are more heartbreaking than the lyrics themselves.
Kept hoping she'd come back again.
Number 10, Amarillo by Morning, 1983.
And I hope that judge ain't blind.
A dusty rodeo circuit, a battered radio, and a young Texas voice that sounded like it had already lived 3 lifetimes. George Strait steps into the booth to cut a song about losing everything: a marriage, a wallet, a horse, and still riding on toward morning.
Amarillo by morning. Amarillo is where I...
It should have been a monster hit. It wasn't. Amarillo by Morning peaked at number 4 on the Billboard Hot Country Singles chart. Not number 1, not even close, by the standards of the format.
But I'll be looking for it when they pull.
Radio programmers at the time leaned toward bigger productions, glossier hooks. This was just a fiddle, a steel guitar, and a man singing about being broke and still free.
A girlfriend somewhere along the way.
So how does a song that never topped the charts end up on almost every greatest of all time list ever published? Because chart position was never the point. Feeling was the point. Strait didn't fight the industry. He just kept singing it, night after night, arena after arena. And something strange happened.
Everything that I got.
The crowd started finishing the last line before he did. Decades later, Amarillo by Morning is routinely named among the greatest country recordings ever made.
But what I got is mine. I ain't rich, but Lord.
Outlasting songs that beat it on the charts back in 1983. It never needed a trophy. It became a mile marker for an entire genre.
I'm free. Amarillo by morning.
Number 9, Strawberry Wine.
Like strawberry wine.
A 19-year-old newcomer named Dina Carter walks into a Nashville studio in 1996 with a song about first love, a Tennessee farmhouse, and a summer that only happens once.
Over now, years since they've seen the cloud.
Nashville wasn't sure what to do with it. It was slow. It was quiet. It didn't sound like anything else climbing the charts that year, and executives worried a coming-of-age ballad from an unknown artist wouldn't get airplay in a format leaning toward upbeat, radio-friendly hits.
Strawberry wine.
What were they missing? They were missing an entire generation of women who had never heard their first heartbreak sung back to them like that. The song reached radio anyway, and something radio hadn't fully accounted for happened. Listeners called in, requesting it again and again. It climbed to number 1 on the Billboard Hot Country Singles chart and stayed there for weeks. Strawberry Wine won the CMA Award for Song of the Year in 1997. Carter's debut album went multi-platinum, and the song became a defining coming-of-age anthem that country radio still can't shake 3 decades later. It wasn't loud, it wasn't flashy, it just remembered what it felt like to be 17, and it never let go.
Somewhere between a woman and a child.
Number 8, Whiskey Lullaby.
Him beneath the willow.
2 voices, 1 story. Brad Paisley and Alison Krauss step up to a microphone in 2003 to record one of the darkest duets country music has ever released.
His pain away a little at a time.
This wasn't a song built for easy rotation. It's about addiction. It's about grief. compounding grief. Radio programmers had genuine hesitation. A ballad this heavy, this bleak,
Mine until the night. He put that
wasn't the kind of thing that typically climbed the charts in an era chasing upbeat singles. So, why take the risk at all? Because Paisley believed some stories are worth telling even when they hurt to hear. The song's music video, stark, wordless, devastating, pushed the emotional weight even further, and instead of turning listeners away, it pulled them in.
And when we buried him beneath the willow.
Word of mouth did what caution never could. Whiskey Lullaby reached #1 on the country charts and won the CMA Award for Musical Event of the Year.
With a note that said I'll love her till I.
Critics still cite it as one of the most gut-wrenching story songs ever put to tape.
But nobody knew how much she blamed herself.
It doesn't end happy. It was never supposed to. That's exactly why it's unforgettable.
Life is short, but this time it was bigger.
Number 7, Ring of Fire, 1963.
I fell into a burning ring of fire.
Johnny Cash walks into a studio to record a song written by June Carter and Merle Kilgore. A song born out of a love Cash wasn't even supposed to be chasing.
Went higher, and it burns, burns, burns.
The mariachi horns were a gamble nobody in Nashville expected. Country records didn't sound like that. Session players and producers questioned whether trumpets belonged anywhere near a Johnny Cash record at all. So why keep the horns in? Because Cash said he'd dreamed them, heard them in his sleep before he ever stepped into the booth. Against every expectation, the song caught fire, literally and figuratively.
One heart like ours beat.
It shot to #1 on the country chart and crossed over onto the pop chart, something almost unheard of for a country single at the time.
The ring of fire.
Ring of Fire became Johnny Cash's signature song, inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame, and remains one of the most recognizable country recordings ever made.
And the flames went higher, and it burns, burns, burns.
A love song disguised as a warning. He sang about burning for someone. 60 years later, that fire still hasn't gone out.
I fell for you like a child.
Number 6, Friends in Low Places, 1990.
And everything's alright. I'll just.
A relatively new artist named Garth Brooks records a barroom anthem that nobody in the room fully understands the size of, yet. Songwriters Dwayne Blackwell and Earl Bud Lee had already shopped the song around Nashville for years.
So I've got a friend in love.
With no takers, other artists passed. It sat, unrecorded, unwanted, gathering dust in demo form, while writers wondered if it would ever see daylight.
I'm not big on social.
What did everyone else fail to hear in it? They heard a drinking song. Brooks heard an anthem for every person who ever got left behind.
Hey, I didn't mean to cause a big scene.
The moment Brooks played it live, the room didn't just listen. It sang along, loud, immediate, unstoppable. Radio picked it up fast, and the chorus became something bars across America started shouting before the record even finished climbing the charts.
And you'll never know how I got.
Friends in Low Places hit #1, became Brooks's signature song, and turned into one of the most performed sing-along anthems in country music history.
You said, honey, we may be through, but you'll never.
A song entire stadiums still know word for word. It was rejected for years, then it became impossible to ignore.
Friends in low places where the whiskey dry.
If these songs are bringing back memories, hit subscribe, because there's a lot more country music history still waiting to be told. Because the next 5 stories didn't just top the charts, they changed what country music was allowed to sound like.
Just give me an hour and then
Number 5, The Dance, 1990.
go. Our love
Garth Brooks closes his debut album with a ballad about loss, disguised as a love song. It wasn't an obvious single. Slow, sparse, built around a piano, and a question instead of a hook. Executives worried it lacked the commercial punch of an upbeat lead single, especially for a new artist still building an audience.
you smile, it's better left to.
So why release something this quiet as a defining single? Because Brooks believed the song wasn't really about romance at all. It was about every risk worth taking, even knowing how it ends.
Have known that you'd ever say goodbye.
Once it hit radio, the response was immediate. The song resonated far beyond broken relationships. Fans connected it to lost loved ones, fallen soldiers, entire lifetimes. It became one of the most requested songs at memorials across the country.
Held everything for a moment.
The Dance reached number 1 and is still considered one of the most emotionally powerful singles in country music history, cementing Brooks as a generational voice almost overnight. It asks one simple question: would you have done it differently, knowing how it would end? Nobody has ever answered it without getting quiet first. Number 4, Jolene, 1973.
Flaming locks of auburn hair with ivory skin and eyes.
Dolly Parton sits down and writes a song in one sitting, inspired by a real red-haired bank teller who once paid a little too much attention to her husband.
He talks about you in his sleep. There's nothing I can do to keep from.
It's deceptively simple. 3 chords, a name repeated like a plea. Some in Nashville underestimated it at the time, viewing it as just another minor key single in a catalog full of them, not the defining moment of an entire career. What did they miss in 3 minutes and 30 seconds?
My man, but you don't know what he means to me. Jolene.
They missed a woman begging, not demanding, vulnerability instead of vengeance. Nobody had written jealousy quite like that before. The song climbed to number 1 on the country chart.
Have this talk with you. My happiness depends on you and whatever.
And over the following decades, it kept getting rediscovered, covered, sampled, reimagined by artists across genres who all found something universal buried inside a very specific heartbreak.
At the spring, your voice is soft like summer rain. Well, I cannot compete.
Jolene is inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame and widely regarded as Dolly Parton's signature composition, one of the most covered country songs in history.
Decide you'll do, Jolene.
She never raised her voice once in that song. She didn't have to. 50 years later, we're still afraid of Jolene too.
Jolene, 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 Jolene.
Number 3, Coal Miner's Daughter, 1970.
But in the winter time,
Loretta Lynn writes her own life story into a song. A childhood in Butcher Holler, Kentucky. Poverty nobody glamorized before her. Autobiographical songs about hardship, especially from a female artist, weren't the industry's comfort zone in 1970.
in a field of hoeing corn.
Executives worried listeners wanted escapism, not somebody's actual, unpolished childhood laid bare on a record. So why did audiences lean in instead of turning away? Because nobody had ever told the truth quite that plainly before. Not the poverty, not the pride, not both at once. Song became an instant hit, but the bigger turning point came later, when it inspired a best-selling memoir and then an Academy Award-winning film, carrying Loretta Lynn's story to audiences who had never heard a note of country music in their lives.
There was no need. She'd smile and mommy.
Coal Miner's Daughter reached number 1, and both the song and Lynn herself became cultural touchstones, proof that hardship, told honestly, could resonate across every border a genre ever built.
To be a coal miner's daughter.
She didn't sing about being a star. She sang about where she came from, and that's exactly why we never forgot her.
I remember well the way where I grew.
Number 2, Crazy, 1961.
Crazy for feeling so.
A young, largely unknown songwriter named Willie Nelson brings a demo to Patsy Cline. She's recovering from a near-fatal car accident, ribs still healing, breath still uneven.
For thinking that my love.
Cline reportedly wasn't sold on the song at first. Nelson's own talk-singing demo phrasing didn't match the voice everyone knew she had. And physically, recording it was brutal. Producer Owen Bradley had to build the session around a singer who could barely stand comfortably in the booth, let alone hold long, aching notes.
Why do I let myself worry?
So, how does a song recorded through literal physical pain become one of the most beloved vocal performances ever captured? Because that pain is audible. It's in the cracks. It's in the restraint. When the final take landed, everyone in that studio knew something extraordinary had just happened.
Wondering.
The record climbed to number 2 on the country chart and crossed over onto the pop chart, a rare feat in that era. Crazy is inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame, frequently ranked among the greatest songs of the 20th century across every genre, and remains the song most people picture when they picture Patsy Cline at all.
And I'm crazy.
She was in pain when she recorded it. You can hear every second of it. That's not a flaw. That's why it's immortal.
I'm crazy for loving you.
Number 1, He Stopped Loving Her Today, 1980.
He had underlined in red.
George Jones, a man already battling addiction and a reputation for missing sessions entirely, walks into the studio to record a song about a love that only ends in the grave. Producer Billy Sherrill nearly shelved it.
Kept hoping she'd come back again.
Jones himself reportedly hated the song at first, calling it too depressing, too much of a dirge for radio to ever touch. Sessions were scrapped and rebuilt more than once. Even the songwriters worried it would never see release at all.
First time I'd seen him smile.
So how does the song everyone involved wanted to abandon become the one most critics call the greatest country song ever recorded? Because Jones wasn't just singing a lyric, he was singing his own exhaustion, his own survival, his own fear that love, real love, might actually be the thing that outlasts him.
When half crazy.
When it finally released, radio didn't hesitate the way the studio had. The song shot to number 1 and stayed there.
He found love letters by.
Critics who'd heard thousands of country records in their careers said they'd never heard anything cut that deep. He Stopped Loving Her Today won the CMA Award for Song of the Year twice, in 1980 and 1981.
He stopped loving her today.
It's been named the greatest country song of all time by numerous critics, publications, and industry organizations. It resurrected George Jones's career at a moment when almost nobody believed there was anything left to resurrect.
He had underlined in red.
The song almost never got made. The man almost didn't survive to sing it. And somehow, out of all that almost, we got the greatest country song ever written.
He stopped loving her